We all love tuner cars, but they're expensive, and we need to get over this, okay? Over time, there hasn't been much of an answer to this like growing price and things until I think I came across it, and you just may not like what I'm about to say, because I think it's Ford, and I want to explain why. Now, we all know the story. Ford tries to buy Ferrari, Ferrari scoffs and throws like some bruschetta at them, and then they get bought by Fiat. The result was Hank the Deuce throwing what might be the largest wallet the world had ever seen at the time to build the car that we would know as the Ford GT40. Paired up with the best in the business, along with an ever-living, growing group of lawyers to read rule books like the Bible, and you got a Ford crossing the Le Mans finish line, an iconic photo that cemented Ford as a company that could do motorsport if it actually cared about it, okay? It was very exciting for a little bit, but like all racing bodies and manufacturers, the 2000s hit us like pimples in high school, and nearly everyone, including Ford, backed away from motorsport, coining economic challenges and strategic alignment. Just so happened to be the same time that we were all growing up and wanted to have a cool car when we turned 16 years old. And it's easy to see why. We love Nissans and Toyotas and Mitsubishis. The old ones were getting better and stronger, while Ford was just nowhere to be seen. They just kind of said, adios. But that doesn't mean Ford was gone. And I'm actually convinced that Ford is the answer we all desperately need in motorsport right now from like a wallet perspective in both the grassroots level and the professional level. Let's talk about it. On my last drift day, I saw the typical breakfast bar of foods, the S chassis, the 350Zs, the ever-growing IS audience. But something actually caught my eye for the very first time, and that was an absolute boatload of Ford Mustangs. New Edge, to be exact. Lowered wheels, a little bit of angle, some wild liveries, and typically a CJPonyParts sticker on the side. Now, not the new one, because they rebranded, but the old one. Now, I went up to ask them how the platform did out on US Air, and the answer was the same. They loved it. They talked about how with some subframe connectors and new upper control arms from CJ, they were able to tighten up the suspension along with running some aftermarket coilovers. Now, some of them were running stock angle and some weren't, but the prices of what these things like are drifting for in terms of like power plants, it blew me away. I went home, I looked up on the marketplace, $6 grand for a 96 GT Coupe with 400 horsepower, reliably. SVT Cobra was 13 Gs, no rust, and 80,000 miles. It made me think, bar for bar, power for power, I'm not sure there's another car out there that can beat it. Now, as I was waiting for my tires to swap on the old Gloria, I decided to go check out CJ Pony Parts and just look at what they all had available for the platform, because I'm a sucker for a good deal. It's like my mama always said, never pay full price for anything. Now, car included, it feels like Aldi's because everything is actually priced appropriately. You get $90 struts for a 94 to 04 Mustang, $40 for flow tubes, $60 for smoked headlight assemblies. You get a rear wing for $400. Everything on the Nissan Z was $1,600, all right? But it's only in drifting where this car is doing better than it probably should, right? Oh, drifting is not real motorsport, whatever. Okay, let's take it to a different era, because like 2 weeks later, we were at Road America, okay? The car is not only doing good in drifting, it's also doing good pretty much everywhere. Because yeah, a few weeks later, I was at Road America, shake down the old clapped car, and what did I find straddled around our little paddock area? More Mustangs of all generations. Some for grid life, others for SCCA, and all of them look like budget rocket ships with the happiest of clams driving around the 4.048 mile track. It got me thinking that maybe I was in the wrong platform a little bit. And the reason that I say this is because I'm an opinionated guy, and maybe I'm wrong here, but I have seen the prices of nearly every platform, every car generation, every aftermarket car part go up in price in the last 5 years, and it's made it really hard to be a car enthusiast. I feel so bad for anyone that's just jumping into the sport. Hell, I've seen $150 gravity cast rep wheel go up to $300 now, and nothing has changed for the wheel. And that's like a bottom level price point wheel. But I don't like see many people open up enough to try new things, to try new platforms. Nowadays, it has to be something from overseas, and the result of that mentality has made cars, in my opinion, you can tell me if I'm wrong, way overpriced. The parts are overpriced. Accessibility is impossible to get. And when you do want to get something that can do drag, drift, or race, or just be a car that can do it all, everything is just overpriced. And that's why I think we're wrong about Ford and the brands that support platforms like Ford, such as CJ Pony Parts. Ford is dropping $325,000 GTDs, and we scoff at them. Ford is reigniting their partnership with Red Bull Racing and Formula One as of like 2 years ago. And in that time, for one of the very few stories where everything is an SUV or an EV, Ford does look like a wicked good option to jump into to get that valuable seat time. Pair that with the CJ Pony Parts reignited their brand just a few months ago with new logos, a new site, new parts and toolkits, and it shows me that I think it's something where it might be fun to get into. It's like, while everyone else is backing off from the modification world, these guys aren't, and it's keeping more money in our pocket for like enjoying the fact that you can be a car enthusiast. So if you're on the fence, go check it out. If you already got a Mustang, how do you like it? If you want to see where in the hell I found those cheap ass car parts above, I'm telling you, CJ Pony Parts has it all listed on their site. Plus a billion new tools to help Mustang owners see how things will look on their car, how things will sound, and about 12 billion subcategories of parts for restoring, rebuilding, or modifying. And I think it's pretty rad. I love to see it. But all in all, am I just being a Ford fanboy? There is a heavy chance I could be, because I was just really upset that the last time I looked at a car part for the Nissan Z, it was in fact $1795, and the very same part for Ford Mustang was $260. It makes me want to cry. I'm AlexMartini. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.